Nation, to the OHIO Podcast Saturday morning game day preview show. I am your host, the one, the only, the often imitated but never duplicated, the wild man, Chris Wilds. And hey guys, great to see everybody in the chat. I see Eric's out there this morning. Good morning, Eric. Man, we had a great meetup last night. Had some dinner with myself and my wife had dinner with Eric, his wife, and stepson, as well as our friend Mike Wargo was in town for the game, so had the opportunity to meet up with him. Roland Coconut, always good to see you out there in the chat, my friend. Mean Green, welcome. Jeffrey McDowell, welcome to you as well, guys. So, hey, we got a full slate of games today. Well, that is unless you're in the SEC, because apparently they're on their annual November vacation. While most of the college football world, with the exception of about half the Big Ten and, the entire SEC, is out there playing football, fighting for playoff position, fighting for standings in their conferences, fighting for bowl eligibility, for playoff hopes. The SEC, they're taking their usual week off the week before rivalry week. So today we're going to break down what games we can, because honestly, I'm not going to break down a lot of the SEC games because there's only really one that matters. And then I'm going to dive into the Big Ten games that matters. And then we're going to take a look at some of the other games around the country as well that have some implications. So before we get started, let me just start with this. And I've noticed a lot of people on social media criticizing the schedule of the Big Ten. Guys, it's November and it's the same script, the same act, the same con. The SEC trots out their late season cupcakes, treats it like it's normal football, then has the audacity, the absolute gall to gripe and complain about the Big Ten schedule. Meanwhile, we have Big Ten teams out here fighting for conference supremacy. We have Big Ten teams that are out here trying to fight off trap games. Teams are trying to get bowl eligible. So let's call it what it is. From now on, we're just going to refer to this week as the SEC's late season vacation package. You got teams scheduling FCS opponents, glorified scrimmages that essentially amount to a mid-season day at the spa. And they call this tuning up for rivalry week. I'm going to call it something that a word that Ohio State fans are quite tired of hearing. I'm going to call it soft, because that's what it is. And the worst part is, like I said, they love to lecture us about the Big Ten strength of schedule. They love to talk to us about how it just means more. That crowd is always online crying about how the Big Ten doesn't play anybody. Yet in November, while everyone else is out there fighting it out, they're taking a day off. How do you lecture an Ohio State team that's bringing in a Rutgers team that is on the cusp of bowl eligibility? How do you criticize a Luzerines team that is traveling to Maryland, hoping to avoid that ever-popular trap game the week before the game? How are you going to criticize Oregon and USC, who are battling for not only a spot in potentially a Big Ten championship game, but battling for a spot in the college football playoff? We run a 9-game conference slate. You know what? Our teams don't have the benefit of that preseason ESECPN push in the rankings to make their mid and lower level teams overinflated on where they are so that we can beef up our strength of schedule. We don't have that. But what we do have is eyes. And we see how the majority of your league is playing teams with an entire athletic budget that couldn't buy them a visor at an Alabama game. And listen, I get it. Coaches love rest. Teams want to get healthy. We want to get healthy. And I'm going to address that here later as well. But don't play Mr. Tough Guy in July, August, September, early October, and then go into hiding in November. Because that's what you've done with the exception of a few teams. But this year we actually do, guys, get a SEC game that matters this week. And that's going to be my deep dive this week for my kind of around the nation segment here. And it's the Missouri at Oklahoma game. One single game with actual stakes this weekend in the SEC. The rest, enjoy your vacation. But Missouri at Oklahoma, this game it is not up to the Oregon USC standard, but it's one of the games of the week this week. Missouri comes in, and they're a team ranked in the lower end of the top 25. Solid team, good record, but everyone's asking, where's that signature win? This is the moment Eli Drinkwitz has to prove his program is more than just a nice back-to-back double-digit team win story. And then the odds makers, they've got Mizzou as about a just the last I saw they were right around a 7-point underdog. It's down to 5.5 right now. And honestly, that feels fair. If Bo Parabola is healthy and can provide steady quarterback play, if they're able to lean on their ground game a little, and if Oklahoma's offense sputters, they can absolutely cover this game, if not steal one. And if you're Oklahoma, I think you've got to go out there and you've got to say, we just knocked off Bama. We are 8-2. We are entrenched in the playoff hunt. Defensively, the Sooners are one of the best units in the country. Definitely one of the best in the SEC. Offensively, John Mateer, a kid that at the beginning of the season had all the Heisman hype. Had the injury, kind of let slip a little bit. But a very good quarterback. They have a good physical ground game. And that is what Brent Venables likes. That's what he's needed. And Oklahoma is hosting Missouri today, which, guys, Oklahoma is not an easy place to play. Why don't you ask the Wolverines how easy it is to play at Oklahoma? And that wasn't even in November. That was the early part of the season. So I'll tell you, I see a low-scoring physical game. I see Missouri hanging around, but I'm still debating on my pick. We'll save that for the end. Vader, the spread is down to 30.5. I see your question there. The spread is down at 30.5 right now, according to FanDuel. So that's where we're at on the big picture nationally. I'll touch on some other games here towards the end. But I really want to dive into the Big Ten because, we've got some games that are not really of huge consequence today. We do have Northwestern looking to become bowl eligible at Minnesota. That's a good one. We have, of course, Rutgers trying to get bowl eligible and pull a knockoff today. Michigan, they're looking to avoid that trap game today. And then, of course, the big one tonight, we've got USC visiting Oklahoma. Oregon. USC visiting Oregon. So it is a lighter slate with several byes in the Big Ten. But the games that are scheduled actually do have some consequence for the most part. I mean, you've got Nebraska and Penn State. You've got which is, that's pretty much a kind of a unimportant game, for lack of a better term. You got Nebraska's not going to the CFP. They're already bowl eligible. Penn State's not going to get there. You got UCLA playing today, and another one that's not really of consequence. So, guys, I mean, the Big Ten schedule is a lot lighter, but it does have a few. So let's start. I talked about the trap game. Let's start with Michigan at Maryland. And here's what stands out to me in this one. Obviously, you've got Michigan 8-2, one loss in the conference. There is a big game coming up, obviously, next week in Ann Arbor. This is a team that has one of the better scoring defenses in the country. They are only giving up 17, 18 points a game, I believe it is. And, like I said, they can play defense. They're 17.7 points per game, number 12 in the country. The offense, however, it's not elite. I haven't seen yet if Jordan Marshall's going to play, but we already know that Justice Haynes is supposed to be out this one. And is supposed to be out the year from what I'm hearing. It's got an efficient run game with those two guys, but if they're both out, you have to question, is this one where Maryland can sneak in and get them? Michigan wants a stress-free business trip game here. They do not want to be in a fourth quarter dogfight with this Maryland team. Maryland, a team that, they're 4-6. They have to win out to become eligible for a bowl game. They might be hungry here. Their offense has been inconsistent. They've been a bit of a turnover machine, but they also generate a lot of turnovers. Not something Michigan is typically known for, the turnovers, but I'll tell you what, we saw it last week against Northwestern considerably. They've got some decent athletic skill players. And historically, they've played Michigan kind of weirdly tough at home. So, as I look at this one, guys, I think the danger here is pretty simple. If Michigan looks ahead, if Maryland plays out of their mind, or if weather and mistakes keep this close, this is a game that Maryland could sneak up and grab. That being said, Michigan's trenches are better. Their defense is very disciplined. And they want to really try to avoid an upset with Ohio State looming next week. I think this game is closer than what a lot of people think. I see this as a game that is probably, and again, I'm trying to check the current line on this game, but it's a game that I think is probably going to be a game that is maybe a 2-touchdown game, if that. And if Maryland goes into this game down by a score or less going into the fourth quarter, I'm telling you right now, watch out, because they may just sneak up and take this one. Okay, we've had a lot more people hop in the chat. I'm just going to say hello before I dive into the next game. Scott Wortman, hello, welcome so much. Brandon Newsom, good to see you, buddy. Ryan Day's championship beard. Okay, Jordan Marshall is not going to play today. Guys, that could be a game changer. That could be a real game changer right there. Good morning, Bart. How's it going, buddy? Buck Vader's in the chat, our man in the know. Vader, always good to see you. Captain F Nuts. Okay. Great to see you, buddy. All right. Next game I want to talk about on the Big Ten slate. Uh, you know, let's talk about Northwestern at Wrigley Field. Northwestern is here fighting for bowl eligibility. This is a team that went toe-to-toe with Michigan last week. Minnesota's been inconsistent all year. I'm not going to lie. Even though I think Minnesota might be the better team, I'm really leaning a lot towards Northwestern in this one. I feel like this is a Northwestern team that wants to be bowl eligible, which I think is a major win for them this season. You talk about Minnesota, they have already reached their bowl eligibility. They're not going to make a playoff run. They're not going to make a Big Ten title run. What do they really have to play for in this one other than maybe a little bit of pride? I don't like it for Minnesota here. I think Northwestern gets this one done, guys. Nebraska, let's talk about that one really quick. Nebraska, a scrappy team. They have to play a Penn State team that is very athletic, has a lot of talent, and just this is a different type of team when Rail was not under center for Nebraska. I like Penn State in this one, guys. I really do. Illinois, Wisconsin. This has a game that has ugly potential. Obviously, Wisconsin, Luke Fickell, they want to run the ball. They want to keep it, keep the scoring to a minimum. So for me, I really Eric can't pass up a shot at Dylan Rayola, can you, brother? Tate Jr.'s at it again. And by that, I mean the tater tot, not our Tate. But I think that this is an Illinois team that's just going to handle Wisconsin. I feel bad for Fick this year, guys. It's not been a good year for Fick, but he's going to be around one more. Who knows? Vengeance Rising in the chat. Great to see you, buddy. Mika, welcome. Good morning. Sage, Ohio. Great to see you as well. All right. Now, before I touch on the Ohio State game, guys, I really... Now, Buckeye Pay, I got to ask, because unless they just announced this, when I looked at the injury report earlier, Smith and Donaldson were both still questionable. Have they ruled them out? I did see that we had a lot of people out earlier, and I was going to address them, but in fact, I'm going to refresh my list before I dive into our Ohio State. Okay. All right. So I'm going to refresh that, and we'll dive into that with our Ohio State preview. But first, we are going to talk about USC at Oregon. Big time football game, guys. This is the game of the week. Make no mistake about it. This is the one that if you watch your team early, you're going to watch this one late. I don't care where you're from, who you're a fan of. This is the football game that matters this week. USC 8-2. Still have playoff hopes. Still have Big Ten championship hopes. They have a high octane offense. I like their run game. Defense, I still have a lot of questions. The biggest thing that looms over USC is road struggles. So specifically in the big games. Road struggles have had a tendency in big games to haunt these guys. Oregon is kind of the flip side of the ball. They're a more balanced offense this year. Not the explosiveness that we're used to seeing, but very capable of scoring. Elite defense this year. They've played defense very well this year. Oregon is a team that in scoring defense is 6th in the country, only giving up 13.7 points a game. They are a team that will challenge you defensively. They are number 3 in the nation in total defense. Again, another team, much like Ohio State, much like Indiana, that are that top tier offensively and defensively, all looking for a Big Ten title, all looking for the opportunity to play for that national championship. Home field advantage is worth real points here, guys. We know as well as anybody, Autzen is not an easy place to play. USC, a team, like I said, that historically struggles on the road. I think Oregon can and probably will win this game. I will actually give you my breakdown on that during my Wildman's picks of the week. But this is a game that I'm telling you, you want to keep your eyes on tonight. Okay. Here we go. Let's dive into it because this is why you guys are all here. Rutgers, or as Eric likes to say, Rutgers, at Ohio State. Undefeated, reigning, defending, undisputed national champions. Number 1 in the rankings right now, and they have been since taking down Texas in week 1. Rutgers, a team that is hungry. They do want bowl eligibility. We all know Greg Schiano. We know how just he will throw anything at Ohio State. But to me, this is an Ohio State team that is going to be out for something different right now. It's not going to be the same guys we always see in there. I mean, and that's a fact. Because if you look at this, and I'm going to pull my injury report back up here really quickly. An Ohio State team that the injuries are stacking up. So we are going to have a lot of new starters in this. And I apologize, guys, but I closed down my screen, unfortunately. So we're going to get the full list of injuries, which does now include, as Pay mentioned, it does now include Jeremiah Smith. So Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate are both being ruled out. Josh Padilla is also out. Jerquez Carter, Logan George, Malik Hartford, Jones, Mason Mag, Max Roy, Eric Mensah, all out. There is still potential that CJ plays. He is listed as questionable for this one. Ryan Day confirmed earlier this week that he is good. He is strong. He had a good practice day. So it's an injury bug today, guys. That being said, do we need them? Do we need these guys to beat Rutgers? Rutgers, a team that can play defense a little bit. They do have a solid run game. Their pass game has been much better with the transfer from Minnesota at quarterback. They're going to try to shorten this game. But you know what? Nobody shortens a game better than Ohio State. Could this be a year where perhaps they want to reverse the roles? Maybe Rutgers wants to run this thing at a tempo and try to put up points. Rutgers right now is playing for everything. They're only going to get one more shot at becoming bowl eligible if they don't get here today. So they have one shot against Ohio State, and then next week they end up getting Penn State at home. Probably a better opportunity there to become bowl eligible than they've got today. But, you know, I think they're going to be hungry, guys. And I'm going to tell you, if you're looking to bet this game, 30.5 may be a lot when you don't have Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate and one of your better backup offensive linemen in Padilla in this game. Ohio State, best roster in college football, deepest defense they've had in probably 20 years, an offense that can score even when they're not clicking. They can still find ways to score. So, obviously, as we go into this one, guys, here's my take on it. Ohio State needs to play an extremely clean game here today. No silly turnovers. Keep Julian upright. And guys, by all means, no injuries. None. I think you need to establish the run game early. Rutgers has struggled a bit with the run. We saw us start to pick up the run game a little bit last week versus a UCLA team that was very much the same way. Yeah, Dewey, we're going to address that here in a minute. For me, I think the key is suffocate Rutgers with defense. Do what you've done well and run this game via clock management. Don't go out there and try to put up a ton of points. I know you want to get Julian saying Heisman numbers, but I was really concerned last week when we did that. I feel like you easily could have broke that kid's confidence consistently sticking him out there at the end. And then obviously, again, the key is get out of this game healthy. People will criticize. If Ohio State goes out there and wins by 7 or 10 or even 14, people are going to criticize. They're going to say, oh, it's a Rutgers team that's under 500. I don't care. Go out there, get the win. If it's ugly, it's ugly. If it's a big win, great. But the most important thing is I want to see Julian saying, get out there, have a few good series. And guys, if we can get up to a 14-point, 21-point lead, I would not be mad at all to see Julian Sand pulled out of this game. I really would not. I think the Buckeyes win. I don't know how big they win. I think Rutgers hangs on for a few quarters. But, yeah, Ed, they're not great against the run. Like I said, this is a team that, like UCLA, struggles against the run. Another opportunity to get this run game going. So that's my take on Ohio State, guys. Some other games to note around the country today. We have Syracuse at Notre Dame. Syracuse. Boy, Notre Dame's schedule's been all. Notre Dame's schedule, with the exception of the first 2 weeks, has been like this week for the SEC all year. For the love of God, somebody please remind me why, with 2 losses and 0 quality wins, this team's even in the conversation. Please remind me. But Syracuse travels to Notre Dame in what's just going to be another case of leading the lamb to slaughter. TCU at Houston. Houston's playing some decent football right now. They're 8-2, in a position to where they would love to possibly improve their ranking, maybe sneak in as a playoff team. I don't see it happening. It would have to take a whole lot, but senior night, looking for win number 9. TCU, they're a good team. They're not great, but they're good. I think this is going to be a tight game. Eric, I'm not going to go on about that loser, so don't worry about it. Not going to go on. Eric, you threw off my train of thought just putting that idiot's name in the chat, but I'm going to get refocused here. I think this is going to be a tight game between TCU and Houston. Number 11, BYU, travels to Nippert to play Cincinnati. BYU, are they still a legitimate playoff dark horse? I don't know. Cincinnati wants a signature win badly. It is a very good matchup. Guys, the experts are picking this to be a much closer game than what people are anticipating. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what I feel on my hot takes, see if that's one of the games that makes the list. Number 24 Temple, number 24 Tulane, they're at Temple. Guys, don't even worry about this one. Tulane's going to roll in this one. Temple 5-5, looking for 5-5, looking for bowl eligibility. It's not going to happen today, guys. Tulane's just too much. Arizona State, they're hot right now. Tyson's been a monster. They're going to Colorado to play Coach Prime's boys, and Colorado's going to need a defensive miracle. They're going to need Travis Hunter to take a step back from the NFL, come out, suit up for a weekend, because that's the only thing that can possibly save this team. So, as I look at the slate of games, not a lot of impressive games around the country today. If it's me and I'm trying to decide what games to watch, obviously for me, it's all about Ohio State at Rutgers during that first slot. You kick over to the 3:30 games, and you've got what I think is the game of the day, that being number 15 USC at 7 Oregon. The nightcap games, I don't see anything to be real excited about. Maybe Pitt at Georgia Tech's a decent one at 7 o'clock. Tennessee traveling to the Swamp, that might be an okay game at 7 o'clock. BYU and Cincinnati, that one kicks off at 8 o'clock, and I think that, of all those games, may be your best game to watch, guys. So that's where I'm at with the games this week. If you have any questions, now's a good time to put in the chat. I'm going to say just another quick hello to some friends who have jumped in. Skeletor OG, thank you for stopping in this morning. Mr. Lance, Always great to see you in the chat, guys. Sage, Ohio. I don't know if I mentioned you earlier, but welcome. Sean Duffy. Those guys are not playing today. They've already been ruled out. Eric, of course, accusing me of my Marcus Freeman hate taking over. It's not going to happen today. There's no use in even mentioning that moron today. Tyler, welcome. And I think I'm all caught up. Oh, Dewey. Dewey, this is one I wanted to touch on today before I jump into my picks. I think he's really concerned about Carnell Tate. It will be almost a month since he's played. Not confident about availability going forward. I think you have legitimate reason to be concerned. That being said, I'm not going to be overly worried about what we see today with those guys sitting out. This is a game where I don't think we need them. I think that Ryan Day doesn't believe he needs them today. I am concerned about the length of time he's sitting out. Is he gonna experience rust? Maybe. But I think it's a wise move to set him out and to keep Smith out in this game. But if I had to say I'm more concerned about one or the other, it's obviously, it's tough. But I'm going to say I'm more concerned about Jeremiah Smith having the more serious injury. Something I haven't been concerned about all along. But something that if he goes down, I honestly think he is such a player that I think we can still beat Michigan without him. I think we can beat Michigan without both these guys, to be honest. Because our defense is just that damn good. And offensively, I think we have guys who can step up and fill the spot. I don't think we compete for a national title without J.R. Smith. I think if we are J.J. Smith, I'm sorry. I think if we have J.J. Smith and not Carnell Tate, we can still compete for a national title. I don't think we can compete for a national title without Jeremiah Smith. So that's where I'm at with that. But I do believe both are going to be okay. I've had a firm belief in this. I think they're both good for Michigan. But this is what today's all about, guys. We're sitting both these guys so we get these young guys the snaps. We get them ready in case one of these guys can't go next week. Both these guys can't go next week. Am I more concerned? Yes. But I do still believe because of our defense, we can beat them. Okay. Eric. Eric wants to know, how was my steak last night? Who does it better, the Roadhouse or Bogsy? Well, I'll tell you, Eric, you do a pretty damn good steak. I'm going to give you the edge over Roadhouse, but I ain't going to lie. Next time we got, if we're going to meet up with Mike, we got to do it back in Pittsburgh because that steak on a stone is the bomb. That might take yours down, man. As good as your steak is, the steak on a stone may be better. I'm not going to lie. So that's where I'm at as far as the steak goes. I will not be attempting any Lou Holtz impressions. I will not do that. That is an Eric thing. Who's my pick for Tennessee, Florida? I'm going to address that in just a minute, Scott. As we jump into the Wild Man's Weekend picks here shortly, I will jump into that. Yes, Eric. Eric and I will be on the call today as we have our Game Watch party on Patreon. Eric, keep anything Notre Dame out of this, please. Please keep everything out of this. No Notre Dame today. My blood pressure's been a little bit elevated. Had a little sugar spike last night after I decided to pig out on sweet potatoes and rolls at the Texas Roadhouse. So let's not do anything to raise the blood pressure or get me all amped up tonight. Yes, only $5 to join our Patreon channel. Kick back, watch the game with us as we call this one. And, you know, nobody wants to watch the announcers on TV. Why would you? They don't give you the love. We give you the love because we love the same team you do. It's only $5 to join on Patreon. We also have the $20 package. Don't forget that, where you get a wonderful OHIO podcast members hat, as well as you get entered in our monthly drawings, which, guys, we're going to be coming up on again here very, very soon. I'm going to go ahead and post this up as Eric has posted our link in the chat here. So that is the link. If you would like to join us on Patreon, if you are not a member already, why not? Why aren't you a member? You get Buck Vader's blogs. You get Mika. Some of the best information out there on recruiting and other things, guys. If you guys have not checked out her podcast, The Illuminati, you're missing something. You get myself, you get Sean, you get Eric, you get TG talking about Buckeyes and the pros. Man, Sean's got a great new show that's going to be coming on. And by the way, shout out to Sean and his daughter, Sean is taking his daughter to her first ever Ohio State game today. Guys, I hope they're having a really wonderful time. Maybe we can hook it up to where we can get some live updates from Sean at the shoe. Let's see here. Love the show, brothers. OHIO, brother. I appreciate it. Let's see. Roland says, I've been doing a lot of research on presidents being Ohio State football fans. Richard Nixon loved the Buckeyes. So did Illinois' own Abraham Lincoln. Okay. All right. And we had about I'm trying to remember, is it 6 or 7 presidents of our own that came out of Ohio who many of them came before the Buckeyes, but I'm sure if they were around then, they would have been Buckeyes fans. Just checking out the chat here. Yeah, that's when you know something's good right there. My lovely wife, Bobby, threw it out there. The steak was so good that Eric and I stopped talking football. You know that's a good steak. What we were talking about, guys, is something huge for the OHIO podcast. Something that we're going to be bringing to you guys very, very soon. Some massive news concerning the podcast. So, I just jumped down. There we go. Tyler, you got a question for me. When we finally beat Michigan week, how am I going to celebrate? Well, buddy, I'm going to be at Baker's. So I'm going to be celebrating with hopefully a lot of our closest friends because Eric, our buddy Bart, the Schrock Star, my family, Eric's family, we're all going to be at Baker's Pizza in Bucyrus, Ohio, guys. Some of the best pizza you've ever had. If you are diabetic, that's okay. They got a great cauliflower pizza. Those carbs won't kill you. Come on out and join us next weekend at Baker's Pizza in Bucyrus, Ohio. It's going to be a great, great time, great party. It's going to start at 11 a.m. Make sure you get there when the doors open at 11 because this is first come, first serve. We did get the back room of the place, but guys, it's going to fill up fast. So make sure you get to Baker's Pizza in Bucyrus, Ohio about 11 a.m. next week so that you can be there for our first ever. Is this our first ever? Well, it's our first ever at Baker's. I'm sorry. We always go to Pittsburgh. We've done a few with Alumni Association in Ohio, but this is the first one where the OHIO podcast is actually throwing the bash on their own, our game watch party at Baker's Pizza. And in answer to your question, Tyler, it probably is determined by how many adult beverages I imbibe as to just how good I celebrate. Who knows? I might just have fun. I might just get crazy. I might get arrested. Who knows? It's going to be a good time. Let's see. Shout out to Tyler, who did win last month's members only drawing for our $20 members, guys. Big shout out to Sean. Thank you so much, buddy. Scott, Patreon is awesome. So make sure you subscribe. Yeah, the game watches alone are worth it. Rolling Coconut. Jake Butt is the only decent announcer worth listening to. And sometimes Gus Johnson. Gus Johnson is so boring when he calls Ohio State games. Who remembers the calls that he used to make, man? Like when Denzel Ward lit up that wide receiver and he came up with that famous "hurt my feelings" call. He used to be fast. He used to be so passionate about calling Ohio State games. Now, nothing. Gus, you let me down. Joe Klatt, you're a moron. I don't want to listen to those guys. Jake Butt, I gotta say, I got respect for Jake Butt. I have more respect for Jake Butt than I do our own Kirk Herbstreit, and this is why. Kirk Herbstreit goes out of his way not to be a homer. And in the process, he actually degrades the very school that gave him his shot. Jake Butt is the closest thing I've seen from a former player who is 100% an unbiased source. Jake Butt, congratulations. I commend you. You are a fine journalist. Oh, what else do we have? Oh, this is so nice of you, Coconut. We would love to have Ray watch with us. Eric, get with our buddy Coconut because he would like to buy Ray a $5 Patreon membership. And yeah, next month we're going to have some super deals, but don't miss out on the big one today. Yeah, that's a good question. What massive news? Mika, you as a member of the team will be receiving that news soon, uh, as will our friend TG, who's here. Just going through the chat here real quick, see if there's anything else out there before I go with my picks for the weekend. Scott, this is news about the podcast. That's all I'm going to tell you. You know what? Catch yourself a flight from the Philippines, my man. Just hop on that plane and come on over. We'd love to see you. Vengeance, no, it's not. Bucyrus is on the way to the lake if you go up to Route 4, but it's quite a distance from the lake because Bucyrus is only about 15, 20 minutes from my home here in Marion, Ohio. So it's not very far. It's just on the, I would say, if Marion is north central Ohio, Bucyrus will be south northern Ohio. Hurt my feelings. You got barbecue back there and you didn't invite me. Well, you know who has some great barbecue? Baker's Pizza. Let's see here. Lane Kiffin offered $90 million for the. Lane Kiffin, my understanding is, LSU is the highest at $90 million, but also there have been some other good offers, including Florida. All right. No. It'd be northern Ohio. Or northern central Ohio. But it can't be northern Ohio because you'd be swimming in the lake. Next Saturday, it is going to be for the Michigan game. It's going to be 11 a.m. in Bucyrus. Mika, don't give up hope. We're hoping. We're hoping to beat you as well. All right, it looks like I've caught up with the chat, guys, which means now it is time for my... Oh, Lance, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started on that topic. Lane Kiffin is one of the, and I'm just going to say one of the because it might get me on another tangent if I go down that road. One of the most overrated coaches in all of college football. Maybe the most overrated coach who can count to 11. All right, so my picks for today, guys. I'm going to break this down real quick for you. I'm going to just go through the slate because I don't have them predetermined yet. We're going to start off at the 12 o'clock time slot where we've got Rutgers and Ohio State. Guys, the spread is down to 29.5. I still think that's too much, given the fact we're out both of our receivers. I'm going to stay away from that game. So I'm not even going to predict the Ohio State game today. I know Ohio State's going to win. I'm not going to make a prediction because I'm just not sure how that offense is going to look without Carnell or JJ in there. I keep wanting to say J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith, of course, the basketball player who famously ripped off his shirt for the Cleveland Cavaliers World Championship celebration. You got Miami, Florida traveling to Virginia Tech. Now minus 17.5. I don't know. I don't know what I don't like Virginia Tech to cover that. They tend to play Miami very close. And they're not a great team this year. But you know what? That's what I'm going to come back to. We're not going to call that yet. We're not going to mess with a lot of the SEC games because most of them have 50-point spreads or more. I refuse to do a game with a 50-point spread. What I will say is a lot of times, guys, take the underdog to cover because they're not going to play anybody today. Their starters are going to get one series because this is vacation week for the SEC. Okay, so let's start where it matters. 12 noon, you got Oklahoma hosting Missouri. Missouri is getting 5.5 points in this one. I like this game to be close. I do think that Oklahoma at home, decided advantage. I like Oklahoma to cover. So I'm going to take Oklahoma. I'm going to lay the 7.5. USC at Oregon. Very, very potent USC offense. Very, very good Oregon defense. This is strength on strength. Oregon's being favored by 10.5. And I'm not going to lie to you. I wonder. I wonder, can USC keep it close? You know, USC is going to be hungry. That being said, the one thing I know is I don't know if USC can score on Oregon. I do know that USC has trouble stopping anyone. Guys, I got to go Oregon in this one. And Coconut, I love that you're picking the USC upset today, and I thought about it a lot. But their defense is just not good enough. I think back to what Notre Dame did to this USC team. And Notre Dame, not a phenomenal offensive team against decent teams. I'm gonna give this one to Oregon, guys. I'm gonna lay the 10.5. Another USC or SEC game rather of minor consequence maybe would be Vanderbilt playing host to Kentucky. Kentucky to me is the FCS of the SEC. This is not a team that's going to go out there and do a whole lot. It's at Vandy. Vandy still thinks for some reason they are a playoff contender, even though they definitely are not. Vandy's given up 8.5 points in this one. Guys, Vandy's going to cover that. I don't think there's any doubt. Take Vanderbilt, lay the 8.5. Michigan, Maryland. The line has dropped, guys. The line has dropped. I said I thought this could be a 2-score or less game. The line is down to 13.5 now. But more importantly, this game has an under of 46.5. I like the under. I like the under in this one. Because I don't think either of these teams is going to be too eager to play up-tempo ball given the condition of their teams. Florida at Tennessee. Someone asked me for this one earlier. Florida is at home. They're getting 3.5. They have pulled some upsets. And they should have, by all rights, beaten a Georgia team that is number 4 in the country right now. If the officials wouldn't have bailed Georgia out on this one, I think Florida wins that game. Guys, Tennessee should be the betting favorite here by all means. And it's only 3.5. My brain tells me take Tennessee. My heart tells me to take Tennessee. My brain tells me to take Tennessee, lay the 3.5. My heart tells me Florida might have something here. And 3.5, that half point could be critical. The wise man lays the points and takes Tennessee. If you got guts, go with Florida. Because I think it could happen. And then the last one I'm going to pick today, BYU laying 2.5 at Cincinnati. The people who know think this is going to be a close game. In close games, I tend to go with the home team. That being said, number 11 BYU is still in playoff contention. They have something to play for. As much as I want to take Cincinnati here, and if this was Luke Fickell's Cincinnati, I probably do take them here. But it is not. This is a game where I'm going to take BYU and I'm going to lay the 2.5. So those are my picks for the weekend. If you have any other games though that you'd like to hear about, throw them in the chat. I'll give you a couple minutes. If you have any final game questions about the Ohio State game today, throw it in the chat. If not, we're going to close this thing down here within about the next 5 minutes so that I can go get some lunch prior to Eric and I jumping on here and getting on for the Patreon Game Watch Party, which again, the Patreon Game Watch Party is usually a blast. So if you're not a member, consider becoming a member. It's only $5. Hop on over to Patreon and do that. The link was up in the chat earlier. I will go ahead and repost that link into the chat as soon as I find it. Eric is so much better at this scrolling thing than I am. I'm not going to lie. He is just good at the whole scrolling thing. There we go. That is the link to our Patreon channel. So, all right, guys, I have not seen anything else. Wait. Let's see here. Have not seen anything else. Yes, Mika, by all means, go Maryland. We would love nothing more than to see the Loserines lose in that trap game. But nothing else from the chat. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and sign off for this one. That's going to do it for the OHIO podcast game day preview show. If you've stuck with me for the full hour, guys, you are the real MVP because I have not been in the greatest voice today. I have not been as organized as I like to be today. But I'm going to have a lot of fun. today calling that game with my buddy Eric over on Patreon. So enjoy today's games. Enjoy what is hopefully a whole lot of chaos, as long as chaos doesn't happen in Columbus. And get ready for next week, guys, because it's the year for the game. Ohio State, Michigan next week. Join us at Baker's Pizza. Until then, this is the Wild Man saying good day, God bless, and go Bucks.